Board of Commissioners met for their final October session Tuesday. The board's morning session was packed with residents and some media that are still tracking recent developments with regard to the Paulding Northwest Atlanta Airport's initiative with Propeller Investments and some discord between Post 2 Commissioner Todd Pownall and other members of the board over the release of that news. On the board's morning agenda, 3 citizens wishing to speak addressed the board and were led off by Mike Fritz. Fritz spoke regarding pre-election promises.
You know what? This morning was pretty interesting because right now I'm in the room of several people that I have helped win elections. Even the old timers like Kirby, even 2 up there on the board. Before I get started, I want to ask you one major question. How many people in this room want responsible government? How many people? Okay, just want to make sure I was on the correct page. During a campaign process, especially in this county, you're heated. You want to win. You want your candidate to be the representative. And during the course of that, there's a lot of promises made. During the course of that, a lot of those promises are broken. That's why I'm here in front of you. It's become almost a matter of, oh, geez, yeah, he promised that, but he didn't do it. So I'll proceed with my questions. There was 2 candidates that are now sitting on this board that made pretty serious promises. They promised, number 1, that they would give back the first 2 years the money that they made, okay? I'm going to find out for public record if, in fact, they abided by that promise. Because you know what, during an election, like I heard earlier in this agenda, is now won by 5 votes, 12 votes. So a lot of people are basing their votes strictly on what you promised during the campaign. I'm going to hold these people accountable, not only for this, but for the other ways that they dispose of their posts. Mr. Barnett.
Mr. Fritz, there.
Did you or did you not?
Here's your printout when my checks were issued back to the county.
Thank you. So, Mr. Barnett, you did in fact abide by your promise.
Yes, sir.
And at this time, every time you were paid, you turned around and took that payment and gave it back to that county?
Every 6 months.
Thank you. I wish you the best of luck in the future, and I have total respect for you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Pownall.
That's me.
You know what? You and me have been on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, we have.
I've been your opponent, and I also stood with you on the corner, holding your sign. So now, I got the same question to ask you. Did you, during the campaign, promise one important factor? Number 1, did you promise to the people of this county that you would, in fact, give back the money that you won?
Yes, sir. I sure did. In fact, I made 3 promises. I promised, and there's only 3 promises I made. Didn't promise anybody to pave a road. That's what a lot of candidates will promise. I promised to work hard, be honest, and give back the first 2 years of my salary, just like Mr. Barnett. We did that together.
Now, let me ask you, in what fashion did you give back that money?
Back to the citizens.
So at no time you stalled?
No.
So at no time after I went public did you decide, oops, I got to do something? Are you sure this is a public record?
Nope, not at all. I held off on the second half of last year because of a couple of agenda. In fact, one agenda item that's on here right now was Shepherd's Rest. And during the budget process, that was something that I wanted to see happen, wanted to make sure we fulfilled. But other than that, no. I didn't give back mine the same date that Barnett did, but I did give mine back.
Why the lapse?
Because of that. In fact, if you'll look at the record, we didn't, I think the first time we both gave it back at the same time, but after that, it was kind of on different dates.
Well, you know what? During that election promise, you were very exact and very articulate on what you would do.
Exactly.
And I think holding back your pay for another given time just to oversee was not part of your promise. The only thing I'm asking you, if you did not fulfill that promise, is just apologize. Say, look,
I did fulfill the promise. In fact, I will say this. I'm Todd Pownall, and I'm the Post 2 Commissioner of Paulding County. And I made 3 promises to the people. And that was to work hard and be honest and to give back that same pay that Mr. Barnett and I both said we would give back when we announced it, I think in the Civic or the Dallas Field. And yes, I have given back. In fact, I've given back $32,800 is what I have given back. And
how recently?
my last one that I gave back was probably a couple of weeks ago. And I want to say this. I see the direction that this is going in. And there's only one person up here on this board that knew why I wasn't giving that back immediately, knew why I was holding off. Only one person. And yes, I've given back my $32,800 that I promised to give back. And whatever we're doing here, political bullying, I don't agree with. I can tell you this, I didn't know what you were speaking about today, other than pre-campaign promises. I didn't know.
So is that
But obviously
selective
some other
memory?
people-
Is that selective? It's pretty well posted exactly what I was coming in here for. You know what, Todd, the only
No, in
thing,
fact, it was pre-election promises.
you know what? How you delivered those pre-election promises and everything. You didn't say to overlook something. You didn't say anything about it. You said you would give it directly back, and in fact, you didn't. Look, just be a man, stand up, admit it,
Yeah.
and say you made a mistake.
I
That's
did make a
it.
mistake.
Okay, thank you.
I want to make it clear to the people, I did not make a mistake. I have given back $32,800. And furthermore, I will say this. Mike, if you want any more of that, if you want some more of the money, come sit on the back porch and ask my wife and kids. Because I have done exactly what I promised I would do, and that was to work hard and be honest and be open and transparent to the people of Paulding County. And I have given that $32,800. David Barnett and I believe, is the first time in history that's happened in this county. And I would never go back on my word to the people. And I'll never go back on my word to the people to be open, to be honest, and have transparent government. And that's what people of Paulding County deserve. It's what they expect. It's what they expect out of their elected officials. And I will tell you this. I am Todd Pownall. I am the Post 2 Commissioner. The airport is in my post. And political bullying does not need to continue on in this county of Paulding County. I have seen it for years.
Point of order,
Political
Mr.
bullying-
Chairman. Point of order. We need to get back on our agenda.
Tommy, we do need to get
I
back
know.
on our
Okay,
agenda,
point of
but
order.
other people said this.
Point of order.
You know what? The way they're behaving is typical.
No?
And at this time, I'm going to leave the stand
Yay.
because you diverted away.
And I will say this, because right now, I'm up here, and I will say this. Mike Fritz, we've been on both sides of the aisle before. We've always spoke candid to each other and been open and honest, and I'll tell you this, Mike, as a person in this community, I still love you.
As a point of order, there was 5 minutes given to speak. Anytime he stopped not to speak, then that time will stop on the time frame. So it's not that one person gets more time than another, but when Mr. Pownall spoke, that time stopped. So he did stop at the 4-minute mark. Now we'll call Ms. Susan.
And Mr. Chairman, just for one more thing, and it's pretty simple here. I wasn't aware that that's what Mr. Fritz was going to ask for, so I didn't bring anything with me. So And Mr. Barnett, that is no reflection on you, because
Hang on one thing.
I wasn't aware of that.
Did you get the email that Rebecca sent, which I just looked it up, and I heard what you said, but she sent the email on October the 16th.
I did get the email, but I
It
wasn't,
says what he was speaking of.
I wasn't aware of that's what it was. And if anybody wants to do an open records or ask Tabitha about me giving my $32,800 back to the county, they are more than welcome to do that. And when you've got a citizen and a commissioner that's willing to do that, two commissioners that have done that, I think we need to be thankful that they kept their campaign promises.
Okay. First thing I want to say is, Mr. Fritz, I called you the other day. I think that's the first time I've ever spoken to you. I've never met you before, not that I'm aware of, during my election days. Nothing, have we?
No, we haven't, but I believe
Okay.
during the course of that conversation, I wish you the best
Yes,
in your
sir.
future, and it was resolved that day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Following Fritz during the citizens wishing to speak portion of Tuesday morning's agenda, Susan Wilkins spoke to the board regarding Airport Authority revenue bonds. The board voted on 2 bond resolutions during Tuesday's evening session, one an Airport Authority bond, the other an Industrial Building Authority one.
Inform you that we are very, very concerned about the $3.6 million worth of bonds allocated to the continued construction of the airport runway that we, the taxpayers, are ultimately responsible to pay. We take issue with the way you have and continue to gamble our tax dollars by investing millions into a project that you do not have full approval on from the FAA. A project that, if it fails and receives no funding, will be on the taxpayer's tab for years to come. It's unthinkable that anyone would not only sneak this underhanded deal in behind our backs, but then expect us to pay it back. Your claims of high revenue and lower taxes are empty promises, since this very expensive, self-serving project is built on nothing but your hopes and dreams. Have any economic studies been done to support your projection of the 20,000 jobs and billions of dollars worth of revenue? If so, we'd like to see them. We're also curious about your ability to ignore the AMAX study done just a few years ago by the City of Atlanta, funded by the FAA, that concluded there is no acceptable airport location in the metro Atlanta area that can effectively relieve Hartsfield International air traffic. You've given us no choice but to question your motives and sense of judgment. We are opposed to acquiring any more debt that we, the residents, do not approve of or vote on, especially regarding the commercialization of our county airport. We are through tolerating the reckless spending and poor decision-making of our elected and appointed county officials, who do not only throw good money after the bad, but who have clearly violated their power and our trust. We understand and appreciate the value of economic development in Paulding County. However, we cannot understand why you have chosen to abandon the very purpose you were elected into office in exchange for fulfilling your own personal agendas. Obviously, you are intoxicated with your power beyond reason if you think your residents are willing to accept being treated with zero respect and such little regard. It is inconceivable how any of you can justify governing the very people who voted you into office with such deception and dishonesty. You claim your secrecy was necessary in order to do business with Propeller Investments. We understand the need for discretion, but taking matters to this extent is unacceptable. The desire to protect the deal should not exceed your responsibility to protect the Paulding County taxpayers. The residents of Paulding County expect your loyalty to lie with us first and foremost, and we also expect to be included in any major decisions like a commercial airport that will greatly impact the lives of all 142,000 residents. I hope you have come to realize that there are many concerned citizens who oppose the airport expansion, residents who live in Paulding County because of the quality of life it offers, away from the congestion found elsewhere in the metro Atlanta area. In the name of progress, you threaten us with an airtropolis that has the potential of stealing the very essence of our county and reasons we've chosen to live here. We value our trees, our peace and quiet, our natural beauty, our wildlife, our health, our children's well-being, our community, our low crime rate, our sleep, and our happiness. So on behalf of the Paulding County residents, I ask you to halt any further progress on the Silver Comet Field until the citizens are better informed and are allowed to speak. We ask that you set your ambitions aside and handle the situation from here on out in a way that is fair to all Paulding residents. I'll conclude on behalf of the Paulding County residents by thanking Todd Pownall for being an upstanding county commissioner who has not lost sight of his mission to serve and protect the Paulding County residents. Your efforts have not gone unnoticed, and we thank you.
Following Susan Wilkins and wrapping up citizens wishing to speak, Ms. Judy Horn spoke to the board regarding openness in government. For Paulding.com, Richard Grant.